The Godfather, Francis Ford Coppola, S. 1972. Crime drama film starring Marlon Brando and Al Pacino as the Corleone family is one of the greatest movies ever made. The iconic movie tells the story of a mafia family during the 1940s in New York City when young Vito Corleone becomes a powerful mafia boss after his father is killed. What is life like for someone who leads a mafia family? Let's take a look. Welcome to my channel. And today, we are exploring the life of a mafia boss. Viewer discretion is advised for this video, as some of this video may be offensive or disturbing. We, the makers of this video, in no way support or condone the activities of the subjects featured. Number 10. The family business. If you're the son or grandson of a mafia boss, it's basically expected of you to follow in your father's footsteps. It was common for young boys to be taken out by their fathers at night, so they could learn the ropes of the family business. By age 10, these boys already knew that selling newspapers or shining shoes was not how they were going to make money. Their fathers would teach them that if someone didn't pay their debts, then they needed to get tough and collect the money themselves. So whether they liked it or not, these young boys grew up with the expectations of being gangsters. In some cases, the mafia boss's sons took to the training well and became brutal gangsters themselves. In other cases, the children did not want anything to do with the family business. They were torn between what they wanted for themselves and what was expected of them. Some mafia boss's sons were even put into witness protection to keep them safe from the other families. 9. Secret life. Being a mafia boss is very much like being a celebrity. You have to maintain a public image. People see you around town, and they do, and want to know that you re-feared mafia boss. You need to live a double life in order to protect your family and your crew. There are people who would kill to get close to you, but it's also the same reason why you can't really trust anyone. Most mafia bosses had legitimate businesses in order to launder money. They couldn't just walk around carrying briefcases full of cash, so they created nightclubs, restaurants, and construction companies in order to hide their dirty money. This also meant that they had to lead a somewhat normal life in order to not arouse any suspicions. The feds were always looking for a reason to raid one of these places, and they were watching every move these bosses made. If the feds found out that the owner of that successful restaurant was actually a ruthless killer, then the FBI would swoop in and put an end to that boss's criminal career. For a lot of bosses, this double life meant that they had to completely separate homes. One home was where they lived with their wives and kids, while the other house was filled with weapons, cash, and enough secrets to destroy the boss and his entire crew. 8. Women. The old-school mafia bosses had mistresses on the side. They lived lavish lifestyles and were given expensive gifts. They were essentially kept as trophies so the boss could brag about them. Nowadays, mafia bosses aren't allowed to have mistresses. It's one of the most important rules in the mafia. Back in the day, there wasn't really such a thing as divorce, so having a mistress was just another part of being married to a mafia boss. These days, if a mafia boss has a mistress, he will divorce his wife first. And if his underboss finds out that he has a mistress, he'll be whacked. These days, it's all about keeping a clean public image. Even though these modern-day bosses wouldn't be caught dead with a mistress, they still love the ladies. Just have to be careful about where they're seen. Number 7. Loose lips. As a mafia boss, you can never trust anyone. That means you can't even trust your own family members. In the series The Sopranos, Tony Soprano had to kill his brother-in-law because he couldn't keep a secret. He talked too much, and eventually Tony had no choice but to silence him. Mafia bosses are known to be extremely violent, especially when someone talks to the police about what they saw. In the mafia, it's called being a rat. If you're a rat, then you better run away and hide, because the mob is coming after you. Mafia bosses don't care if what you have to say will land them in prison for the rest of their lives. They would rather take the secret to their grave than let someone else spill their secrets. Rats are not only killed, but their families are killed too, sometimes even before the rat has finished his sentence. They don't want anyone to know their secrets, especially not the police. This is why mafia bosses often end up in prison without being able to talk to the police. They would rather rot in prison than tell the police anything about their organization. 6. Brutality. Being a mafia boss is brutal. There's a lot of violence and death involved. From the time these bosses are young, they are trained to be ruthless. They are taught that if someone owes them money, then they need to be beaten until they pay up. If someone disrespects them, then they should beat that person up so they learn their lesson. Being a mafia boss is a violent profession. When you're in charge of a crime family, there's a lot of power struggles. Sometimes there are other bosses that want what you have, and they might try to take it away from you by force. The best way to defend yourself and your family is to be brutal. Beating someone up is not only a way to enforce respect, but it's also a way to enforce fear. If everyone is afraid of you, then nobody will try to take what you have. No. 5. Respect. Being a mafia boss is all about respect. If people don't respect you, then they don't have to listen to anything you have to say. And if they don't listen to you, then you have no power over them. As a mafia boss, you need to make sure that everyone respects you. And the best way to do that is to show them that you're not afraid to use violence. Part of being a mafia boss is being respected by your peers. You need to make sure that the other bosses respect you. Otherwise, you won't be able to work with them. You also need to make sure that the police respect you. And the best way to do that is to make sure they never catch you. Being a mafia boss is all about power, and power is everything in the mafia. No, for power struggles. There are a lot of power struggles in the mafia. There are always people that want what you have, and they might try to take it away from you by force. You need to be ready for that at all times. Being a mafia boss is a dangerous job. There's a lot of enemies out there that want you dead. You need to be ready for that at all times. You also need to be ready for the day when you have to pass on the torch to the next generation. And you need to make sure that the next boss respects you. If they don't respect you, then they won't listen to you. And if they don't listen to you, then you won't be able to pass on the torch peacefully. You also need to be ready for the day when one of your own will turn against you. It happens all the time in the mafia. 1 minute they're your friend, and the next minute they're trying to kill you. You need to be ready for that at all times. No. 3. Trust no one. If you're a mafia boss, you need to be able to trust no one. Even your closest friends and family members could be plotting against you. You need to be able to keep your enemies close and your friends closer. You also need to be able to read people like a book. If you can't do that, then you're not going to last long in the mafia. As a mafia boss, you have enemies everywhere. The police are out to get you. Other crime families want what you have, and even your own family members could be plotting against you. You need to be able to trust no one. It's the only way to survive in the mafia. No. 2 enemies. Being a mafia boss, you're bound to make a few enemies, and those enemies could come from anywhere. It could be another mafia boss that wants what you have. Or it could be the police. Or it could even be one of your own family members. You need to be prepared for anything. The best way to deal with enemies is to take them out before they take you out. No one. Live in fear. Being a mafia boss, you're always living in fear. Fear of the police catching you, fear of another mafia boss taking what you have, and fear of one of your own turning against you. The only way to survive in the mafia is to be able to live in fear. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out another video on the screen. If you like what my channel is doing, consider supporting us through the links in the description below.